Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about the 10 things that I do to beat the blues and find joy and happiness. Just so you know, I'm not a doctor, so if you are dealing with any depression or other mental illness, or if you're not receiving medical care, please do see a medical expert that can help you navigate through whatever it is that you may be needing at this time. My talk today is just merely to give you a glimpse of the things that I do and that could possibly help you in addition to receiving medical care. And by the way, for those of you who have not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe to it so you don't miss any of them, and make sure that you hit the bell button so you get notified every time I upload. So here we go with the stuff that I want to talk to you about today. We all have been dealing with too much lately. It doesn't really matter which side of the argument you are on. Nevertheless, things that happen still affects everyone one way or the other. Some of us are running around trying to figure out the best way to deal with everything, and our batteries get depleted. Those batteries could be the physical, emotional, mental, or all the above. And some of us get all the feels, all the feels that we feel, and also everyone else's. Some of us may be working through grief because we lost someone. We may be dealing with a physical illness. We may be taking care of people we love. We may be feeling stuck in a job we don't like or a relationship that is no longer fulfilling. Things may be taking longer than anticipated, etc., etc., etc. There are many reasons that one could have to stop feeling joy and the zest for living, and that robs us from beautiful experiences that we could be having in this brief time that we all share in this physical realm. As you know, I am a Reiki master practitioner, and I do practice Reiki on me on a regular basis. It helps me keep myself in balance, and it helps me deal with issues that arise with daily living. But every now and then, things get a little bit out of hand, and in those times, I try to step back and get some perspective. First, to know what I'm dealing with, and second, to fix it. So the first thing that I try doing is stepping out of myself. I'm not talking about on an astral projecting type of way, though that would be awesome. What I mean is I pretend that I am someone else, a friend, for example, and I analyze everything that I'm going through. But I analyze it through my friend's eyes. I try to see it in categories rather than a whole big blob of problems, just so that I don't mix everything up, because there may be multiple issues that I'm dealing with. And so that keeps me a little bit more focused. My categories usually fall into health, work, business, kids, relationships. Those are my main ones usually. I then try to figure out what the main problem is on each one, if there's more than one that I'm having an issue with. And I start thinking about how and why these issues are arising. And then once I figure that out, I start brainstorming solutions. And I know that it sounds very straightforward, but we are humans and we have feelings and emotions. And that way, by stepping outside of myself, I can step aside, analyzing like all the issues as if it's not me, so that I can remain objective. Otherwise, I'm going to be feeling like crap longer than I need to, and I really don't want to. So there are things that I can immediately change and others that I need to work through. So the things that I'm going to be telling you about right now are the 10 things that I do, and I am going to mention them by number just so that I stay on track, because I don't want to miss any, but they're not necessarily in this order because I don't always use all of them. It really depends on what issue I'm dealing with. So here we go. Number 1, journaling. I use my journal when I feel like I need to get something off my chest, but I don't necessarily want to reach out and talk to a person, or maybe the person that I'm feeling sad about is gone. So I also sometimes write a letter to someone and I just don't mail it. It really depends on what the issue is. But I find that writing helps me come up with solutions that I may have overlooked or that I'm just obsessing about. And when I put it in writing, it makes the problem look black and white, and it gets it more into perspective. And then I'm able to come up with a solution. And just the act of writing itself makes me focus and it helps me a lot. So I would recommend you try that maybe if you want to. Number 2, crystals. My other allies are my crystals. I find a lot of comfort when I use them. I sometimes wear them, or I keep them close to me and I meditate, or I create a crystal grid. My methods vary, and that's because the problems vary, so I don't always use everything, like I said before. For example, when some important dates are approaching and I feel the heaviness of the air or some sad memories are making their way to me, I look for the crystals that have helped me redirect that energy in the past. For example, I partner up with Apache Tears, which is a type of obsidian that helps transform grief and sorrow vibes. I also reach out for Kambaba Jasper or Rose Quartz because those work with the heart. I also use jasper and fluorite to focus and ground. And I always use my carnelian. Somehow I just love my carnelian. It's like my sister. She helps me with creativity, joy, and it brings me a new and energized and positive perspective to things that I can use or do to make myself feel better. So number 3, physical activity. Being physically active also helps me with bringing joy because it takes me away from just sitting there dwelling on whatever it is that is bothering me. It does get my body going, my adrenaline going, my happy hormones going. You get the point. So I try to do that as much as I can. I'm not always able to go away for walks or anything, or go hiking or anything like that, but I do other types of activity. It doesn't necessarily have to be like in a gym or anything to get yourself going. You can do things like organizing your office or your closet. I like cleaning the kitchen or the garage. Anything that gets me moving and keeps me focused on something else. And the bonus at the end is that I actually end up having much more happiness because my environment is better, and it also brings a more positive outlook because I accomplished something. Number 4, friends, spouse, or family members. So talking to someone is so amazing. It's not always a phone call though, because of time constraints or, people's lives get in the way. Sometimes it could just be texting, and that's fine. Whatever works. But talking with someone I know and knows me and makes me laugh and understands me without judgment or without trying to tell me what to do is such a wonderful thing. I do like when they tell me what to do if I ask them. But as you know, it could be irritating when somebody you are calling or talking to, they're just wanting to be bossy and tell you what to do. So avoid those. Call the ones that don't do that. By talking to someone, it clears my mind and it gets me in a much better space every time that I hang up the phone or that we say goodbye for the night or whatever. The other thing, number 5, is laughter. I love laughing, and it is, as they say, the best medicine. But it's not always easy to find something to laugh about, especially lately. But if I think of myself as being here on this earth for just a brief moment, or if I look at the big picture or at the big scheme of things, I find laughing a bit easier. I know that sometimes I just need to lighten up. Maybe I'm just thinking too much. I'm too much in my head. And so what I do sometimes, and I know that not everybody finds social media entertaining, but I do confess that I have fallen in love with TikTok. Because people all over the world can be so silly and creative. And for me, it has been a wonderful way to spend some time laughing my butt off. But I do have to practice moderation. So moderation. So if you decide to go that route, make sure that you only do it for a few minutes at a time, because it could be addicting, and we don't want that either. We need to have balance in our lives. And so just use it to laugh a little bit and then, move on to something else. I also look for silly videos on YouTube, and I watch movies that make me laugh. movies that I have seen maybe multiple times. Anything that was going to make me laugh and forget about my issues for a while, I'll do that, especially if it involves laughing. Number 6, being of service. Helping others also brings joy. Sometimes I get to listen to someone who's going through a hard time without taking on their vibes, by the way. Because maybe they're just calling or texting me so I can give them advice on something because they cannot figure it out. Sometimes when you are the person in the middle of the problem, you cannot always see the obvious solution for something. So that kind of thing. It's not always something heavy duty like somebody dying, which I have had lately as well. Sometimes it's just something easy that they just don't know how to fix something, or they don't know what to do first out of all the solutions they already came up with. And they just want somebody to bounce it off. And so they call me for that. So when this happens and I am actually able to help someone, it is such a joy. I know it sounds cheesy, but those of you who have done it, you understand me. You are my people. So, number 7, music and dancing. As I mentioned in my other videos, music and dancing can make you happy and they make me very happy. I don't always get to dance because, like, if something is hurting me, I prefer not to. But music does bring, so much joy, and it kind of transports you to another place and time when maybe I was more able to do some other of my dance moves or whatever. But it is important to know that as a rule, if I'm feeling the blues, I do not listen to any sad songs. So I don't recommend that you start going down memory lane with sadness and songs that are very low vibration. Then in other times when you're feeling completely fine and happy, that you may hear and think they're very romantic or they're very cute or whatever. But when you're feeling the blues and when you're not feeling well and you go down that path, that's the path you don't want to be on. You don't want to be listening to sad songs that are going to make it worse. So my rule is that when I'm feeling the blues, I only listen to uplifting, happy, high vibe music because, like I said, I don't want to end up feeling worse than when I started. Number 8, cooking. I know that some people have an issue with eating and they use food as a comfort and they end up getting heavier and unhealthy and making problems worse. The type of cooking that I'm talking about is a healthy for you type of cooking. So sometimes I pick up one of my cooking books and I try a new recipe that I've never made. And it makes me feel creative because I'm creating something that I've never made before. So it is exciting. It is also an exercise in focusing because following the directions, taking the time to clean, chop, put all the ingredients together, make sure that you don't burn things or yourself. It's so satisfying. And at the end of the day or at the end of the recipe, I end up having a nice healthy meal that I can enjoy with the hubby or my kids if they visit, or that I can put in my meal prep container so I'm done for the week. So it's not only something that makes me feel creative, but it also something that makes me feel productive and that saves me time down the road. So number 9, showering or bathing. Sometimes when we are feeling the blues, we don't feel like taking a shower, but we need to realize that we need a clean start, literally. So taking a long shower or bath or listening to music while I'm taking a shower or bathing, and also adding some herbs or essential oils to the bathroom area or the water, it can feel so rejuvenating and uplifting. So besides cleaning my body, it also cleanses my mind. It makes me look forward to a better day or evening. And I get bonus points whenever I use cold water, which I confess is not every time, but I'm trying to incorporate that into my showering routine. And I know my sister, if she's listening, Abby, you would be happy to know that I have used it a couple of times on your advice. So, number 10, drinking water and doing self-care. You're probably thinking, drinking water makes you happy? Yes, it does, because it makes me feel accomplished. I set myself a goal of an X amount of ounces per day. So I keep track, and when I reach my daily goal, not only am I happy that I did, but I know that my body is going to be better. It is hydrated, my brain is going to have less foggy days, my skin and my hair are going to feel and look better, and internally my organs and my cells are going to be functioning much better as well. So the other self-care that I do is I get a haircut or I dye my hair if I need to, preferably with natural colors, not so many chemicals, though I confess that I do vary on that because I do like colors. So anyway, I digress. I also try moisturizing my body, or I go get a manicure or a pedicure. And I know that these things may seem superficial, but they are things that make you or make me feel good about myself, and they keep me feeling happier and also healthier. So that's it as far as all the ones that I can think of that I do. I'm pretty sure I do others, but I can't think of them right now. Oh, actually, I'll give you a bonus. Number 11. I play with my pets. I have 2 dogs and a cat, which on occasion you probably have heard them meowing or barking when I'm recording, but just trying to keep it real. They live here, so they have a right to make sounds. So whenever I feel the blues, I also hang out with them a little more. I play with them a little more, or just having them close by, and they know when I'm feeling that way. They just come over naturally and they spend time with me, and they make me feel a lot better knowing that somebody besides humans love me. So if you don't have a pet and you are allowed in where you live to have one, I recommend you get one. It's up to you what kind of pet, as long as somebody that or something that's going to make you feel happy and not stressed out, because that's what we are trying to avoid here, or minimize as much as we can. So let me know in the comments below what things have worked for you in the past, so maybe we can all share and care and be happy together. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I love you all, and don't be strangers. Bye bye. See you on the next one.